Plaintiff Makila Stanton says she's a minister and a psychic, and she wanted to go into business for herself. Makila says she agreed to purchase a tow truck from the defendant, but an hour and a half after she bought it, the truck died. So she's suing to get her money back. Defendant John Anthony says Makila is perpetrating a fraud today because when he first met her, she was not dressed like a minister and never mentioned anything about the church. John is countersuing for slander and harassment because Makila badmouthed him on social media.
Start with you.
All right. I am a minister. I am a prophet. Some people call it psychic, either way. And I've been in ministry for about 10 years.
What do people, you say some people call it psychic. What is your understanding of the difference?
Well, the difference is exactly what I do. I do more than just telling you about your future. I actually look and take care of different people.
You can tell us about your future too?
I wish I could have told myself about this situation,
So
but
you
yes. It comes in part, whatever God shows us.
It comes and goes?
It comes and goes, whatever God shows me regarding the situation. I wish He
How
showed me this.
often does He show you?
Well, when I talk to a person, whenever they call me.
Talk to him and see who wins today. And how many people have you healed?
Well, I've healed several people, actually, around the
Can
world.
you go to the hospital with me when we're done today? Because there's a lot of people. There's hundreds of people laying there waiting to be healed.
Listen, I'm more than willing.
How successful have you been in the past? How many have you healed?
Well, if you look me
When you
up.
go to the hospital. No, I'm not looking you up. I'm asking you.
Okay.
I like to hear these prophets tell me how many people they done healed at the
I know that's
hospital.
right.
Not the
Okay.
people in the church who you talk sweet to. I'm talking about the people who are laying there suffering. And
How
if
many
I want to know how many of these television ministers and the others who claim they're healing people, how many of them have you healed? Preacher,
I can't put a
he'll
number.
do that.
I can't give you
Then
a
I'll
number.
believe in y'all. When you tell me you can predict the future and you can heal, I'm just not going to let folks tell me that. You got to show me a sign.
I wish I had something right now with some testimonials.
Yes, you do. You can tell me who's going to win. Let's start there.
I can't. I can't with you today.
Because we don't want to mislead people. Some people are misled, to believe certain things that are not true. Don't know the case with you or not, but were you trained as a
No, Holy
ministry?
Spirit driven. God has been my trainer, my light, and my
Good.
rock. So,
All right.
yeah, I
Glad
help
to hear
those
that.
that I
Can you
can.
give me some background, sir, on yourself?
When I first met Miss Stanton, she wasn't dressed like this. This is all I act. She wasn't dressed like no ministry.
How long ago did you meet her?
About a couple of months ago, she wanted to own her own tow truck and be an owner, operator. She didn't act the way she's acting right now. This is a fraud. This is all an act.
What does that mean? You said she's not the person she was. You don't look like that at the shop either, do you?
You're right.
You don't wear your suit to the tow yard or wherever you work. So don't try and suggest that she's not legitimate because she dresses in her professional wear as you are dressing professionally today. So you tell me why you're suing him today.
Okay. In order to fund my ministry, I was trying to get a tow truck because I had lost my job. On February 16th, I lost my job that I used to fund my ministry.
You didn't see that coming. Go ahead.
Touche.
All right. So you lost your job, and so you wanted to go into a business for yourself?
Right. So I lost my job, and I used half my income to pay for whatever anybody needed. So if someone came and said they needed shelter, needed food, they needed clothing, they needed somewhere to stay, whatever the case was, I would take from my salary. So I would use about $30,000 for us, me and my kids, and I would take the $40,000 and just use it for whoever needed it.
Wow.
So at the end of the day, when I found out I wasn't going to have a job, I was like,
Now
oh
that's
my God.
practicing what you preach. Go ahead.
Tithe times 5.
Right.
That's
When
right.
I didn't have a job, it's like, what am I going to do? What about all the people that come to me for help?
Go ahead.
So at the end of the day, I have this wonderful listing. I start looking for a way to start my own business. I find this listing and it says, oh, it runs and drives goods, still is in service until sold as a tow truck, and it's in Ohio. I live in Baltimore, Maryland. So I'm like, okay, well, if it's really that good and it's
Let me see what you have
$5,000,
there.
I'll go
This is the
ahead and
listing.
get it, and I'll go ahead and purchase this tow truck.
Okay, so what happened?
The car conked out, and I had to get help. He refused to help, and after refusing to
When
help,
did the car conk out?
it conked out an hour and a half after I bought it. An hour and a half, 121 miles away. And he couldn't take his tow truck and come help me for some strange reason.
What did you ultimately find out was the problem, or if you did?
Well, I did. Your Honor, I went to several mechanics. The car itself had strapped-on pieces. It was not an actual tow truck, as it was tow truck parts strapped together. The wheel was locked. The wheel was locked. The engine column needed to be replaced.
And so how were you able to go an hour and a half, do you think?
I was able to drive the portion of the car that would leave, but had I actually had the straps broken.
Okay, so why did it stop, that portion of the car?
Oh, the wheel locked up. The wheels were not the correct wheels on that car, so it needed a new wheel shaft.
It went an hour and a half without it?
It went an hour and a half with the wheels as it was. But it should have been able to get me home if it was ready to go.
Sir?
Your Honor, I sold her the truck, okay, as is for $4,900. I went above the calling duty. I bought a battery, put an ignition switch in here, gassed it up, and sent her on her way. She went off, she took off about 60 miles per hour like a bat out of hell in a 30 miles per hour drive.
You saw her when she was leaving?
I saw her when I followed her halfway down the highway to make sure she got on the highway good and was off and rolling, okay? She called me 40 minutes later, about 40, 45 minutes later, 2.5 hours away. So you know she was booking it. She was speeding. And I called her. I said, that's a tow truck. You can't drive that. It's not a race car. You know, you got to drive it like a tow truck. She didn't hit, what happened was she hit a pothole somewhere going down 71 and bust the wheel cylinder. She said it was leaking fluid from the rear end. Only fluid that comes out the rear end is brake fluid.
Sir?
So she bust the wheel cylinder and she kept driving it.
How do you know that she hit a pothole? Could have already been broken.
No, it would have been leaking. She wouldn't have got as far as she wouldn't have got, the wheel would have been locked up. It can't operate without the fluid. So when that fluid run out of there, it'll lock up, period. Just what it did.
You say the fluids came out as a result of a accident or a result of her hitting a pothole. What she presented me says nothing about what you suggest happened. They will have looked at her wheels. The mechanics who did look, what they did determine is that we are unable to work on this vehicle. It is unsafe due to the truck bed is tow strapped to the frame and the fuel tank is strapped up. The fuel tank is also leaking.
Your Honor, the guy, or whichever mechanic she went through, if you ask me, the one that gave her the $800 for the tow truck hit a nice little lick, okay? He just told her what he thought he needed her.
Right, he ripped off for $800.
Now listen, that's what I'm more mad about than anything.
Oh, okay. What's your countersuit? What
Slander
did she do to
and
her
harassment.
What did she do?
Well, Your Honor, first of all, she reached out to my friends and family. She put derogatory statements on Facebook about me, caused me to lose some money with another customer. Anytime you...
Let me see what you have.
This is the post.
Particularly on Facebook or the posting.
Okay.
Please do not trust this man. He is not honest, nor believe a word he says. This is her opinion that you're not honest and that you shouldn't be trusted based on her experience with you.
She reached out to a customer.
How did she know he was your customer?
Lord knows. Like Your Honor,
See, you got a lot of stuff you can't explain. Lord knows her stuff. He don't know your stuff. But the Lord knows. Lord is keeping it a secret. So until he opens up.
Your Honor.
Yes.
She was in my city stalking me, like literally stalking me.
For what?
For her money. She would tell me that she wasn't going home without it. She said she was going to press criminal charges against me for attempted murder.
Did you ever tell her to stop coming around?
Yes.
And what did she say?
She said she wasn't going to leave me alone.
Is that true? He told you to stop coming around?
He never told me to stop coming around, and I never came around him physically, Your Honor. What I did
You have any
tell
evidence
him,
that she came around you physically?
Yes, sir.
What evidence is that you have that she came around you physically?
There it is. To the hospital.
I'm actually here at the courts now, and an official asked me to make the call. I'm not leaving till I get my money back, so I'm trying to work with you. I just notification you were released from the Christ Hospital. Where does it say she was following you?
She was at the hospital waiting on me to come
Where
out.
does it say that?
It doesn't.
She's trying to heal
Where
him.
does it say that? That's why she was there. If so, where does it say that?
She
though?
told me that. On
Okay,
the phone.
you handed it to me. You handed this to me saying that this said that, and it doesn't. Your judgment is granted, ma'am, based on the belief that that truck was dangerous and inoperable when she purchased it. Secondly, your counterclaim, you don't have what you said you have. Have a good day. Judgment for the plaintiff. Your claim is dismissed.
I just thank God. I really do, because this whole situation has been crazy, and I'm glad it came to an end.
At the end of the day, I'm happy, she happy, and then everybody's happy.